Hello, my name is Jameica, and this here beside me is Sandy, and we are the bag makers here at Lori's Country Cottage. And we are here to share some tips and tricks on making your bag making adventures easier. Stay tuned.
First off, we're going to talk about the different types of hardware that you can use for your bag. It's not just functional, but it also helps to personalize your bag. They come in many different colors here at Lori's, in fact, 6 different colors. They come in antique brass, we have the nickel, the gold, the rose gold or gunmetal, and also a rainbow, which looks like an oil slick. So these are the different ways that we can attach a handle to your bag. We have a D-ring, we have the rectangular ring, and the triangle.
We have different purse hardwares available here at the store for you for making your bag making easier and have more options. We have handmade labels, buckles, parachute clips, rivets, Chicago screws, turn locks, sliders, and swivel hooks. So, with any of the connectors that you choose, the D-rings, triangle rings, rectangle rings, you have to make a tab to attach it to your strap connector. And once you've chosen, once you have them sewn together, then you will choose what kind of strap you would like to use. In this case, we have a vinyl strap that we stuck 2 pieces of vinyl together, wrong sides together to make the strap, and then we stitched it down. And then when making your strap longer, you're going to put your right angles together to make it less bulky in the middle, instead of butting your ends together where you have less of a seam there.
That's particularly important in this one because if you note, we have done a fancy stitch down the middle. And so you want less bulk when you're doing that fancy stitch. And again, that's just another way to personalize your bag.
There are different materials you can use when choosing to make your strap. You can use vinyl, cork, or webbing, depending on what kind of look you would like for your strap.
One of the tips that we want to give you is when we talked about our strap here, in order to keep it straight, one of the best things to use is 2-sided tape. We sell it in 2 sizes here at Lori's. We sell it in 1/8 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch. So I use the 1/4 of an inch one and run it right down the center and put my second strap on top. And what that does is keeps it nice and straight. Okay, now that we have our D-rings attached to our bag, it's time to attach our strap. And how we're going to do that is we're going to use our swivel hooks. These swivel hooks really are advantageous because they allow your strap to move with you. So in order to do that, we have pre-punched a hole into our strap, and we're going to attach the the swivel hook. And then through the punched holes, we're going to put in our rivet. So the rivet comes in 2 pieces. It'll click together, and then to set it, you put it on top of the little base. You take the
applicator or setter.
Setter, thank you, and use the whacker. Now, once you've done that, it's permanent. It's not going to come apart. It squeezes the fabric together, or in this case, the leather, and it is set now. So, turning our strap around, we're going to put on our slider. So the slider is really something that allows you to personalize the bag from the viewpoint that it can make your strap shorter, so it would be a handbag, a little longer for a shoulder bag, or the longest for a crossbody bag. So once we have set that, we need to put on our second swivel hook. Now, the first time that we punch the hole, we use the little hole punch that you can just use the whacker and smack it through. But for those of you who are like me, who have arthritis in your hands, this is something else we carry. And what it does is it just allows you to literally just put it in, press down, and come up. It's that simple. It works like a hot darn. And so what we will do now is we will put that on. We have the one hole done. We'll just figure out where we want the second. Put it on, push down, and back up. Now this particular punch can be found with our embroidery items here at the back of the store, and it comes with 3 tips. The other punch that was used earlier comes with 5 different tips from 1 millimeter to 5 millimeters. This comes with 3, 4, and 5 millimeter punch, but it really is very simple to use.
Here's a tip. When punching a hole, it stops fabric from continuing to spread if instead of when you slice it with your scissors or an X-Acto knife, it could continue to run, where if you punch a hole instead, it stops where the hole is.
So now we're going to continue on with the hardware that we're putting on. And so what Jameica has put on here is the slider. So the slider is something that is very useful. As we mentioned, it allows you to personalize the size of your bag, and it simply slips onto your strap. You're then going to put on your swivel hook. Now it's really important that you make sure you put it on correctly. If you don't, it is going to cause your swivel hook to not work properly, or the slider. The slider will not move if it's put on incorrectly. And that's easy to do. So with leather or vinyl or any of the thicker ones, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult getting it through the slider. There we go. So it's through now. And that'll allow us to lengthen or shorten our strap.
Now that we have our slider on and our swivel hook, we're going to attach it with our last rivet here with the holes that we punched. Through. Just snap it on. And now our strap will not fall off.
So now that the strap is finished, it simply clicks on to the D-ring that you have attached earlier. So now the length of the strap depends on the size of the person. So if you look at what your pattern says, it may say a certain length for a person who wears a certain size clothing or height. I'm very short. This one works just fine for me, whereas for somebody taller, it may not. So make sure you read your pattern to decide what length you would like your strap to be. So we have another tip for you. We use the whacker on our punch to make our holes. But the whacker actually has an original use, and it is not to whack holes, but rather to flatten very thick seams. So when you're making bags, many of us have come across those really thick seams in our machines, go, not going to do it. I'm just not happy. So what the whacker does, you steam the thick part of your seam, and then while it's still hot, you give it 2 good whacks with your whacker, and you can see the difference. This is before, and this is after. And you can see that this is a very thin grouping, and your machine should have no trouble going through that. The other thing that we wanted to share with you is this very tiny little cutting board. It's an excellent size to take to retreats or to classes, and this is what we use to punch the holes. It's a great size. You can use it for other things as well, but punching your holes for your bag makes it very simple to use.
Okay, next we are going to attach our closure to our bag. There are 2 different ways that you can do this. You can attach your closure to the front of the bag or to the back of the bag. And we're going to attach it to the back. We just find that it finishes off your bag nicely. And we're going to use our handy dandy little cutting mat here and our perfect punch here. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold your bag in half and kind of finger press so that it makes a line. And then going to make your little hole there. And then you're going to punch your hole close to the top there. We're going to use a Chicago screw to attach the strap. And the nice thing about Chicago screws is you can take it off. If you no longer want that look, you can replace it with a rivet or whatever you would like. So that is our finished bag there.
One more tip to leave you with is you probably noticed that, as we've been talking all along, that this is vinyl. Now, sometimes turning a bag made of vinyl can be really difficult. One of the suggestions that we would like to make is using a hairdryer. So if you're making something like the mauve bag, which is all vinyl, and you're trying to turn it, it can be very difficult on your hands, especially for somebody like me. If you warm it with your hairdryer, it just makes it a little bit more pliable and makes turning that bag a little simpler. So that's it for this bag. This bag is the Harrelson crossbody bag. We have the patterns here in the store. It's a great little bag. It has both an external pocket, an internal pocket as well, and with these really neat little pleats that it has in the front, It gives you lots of room on the inside of the bag.
We hope that you enjoyed watching our video with all the tips and tricks of how to make your bag making adventure quite easy. Thanks.